Hey everyone, welcome to Tint Wisdom number 107. Today I'm joined with Marco Cazorla. Did I say it all right?
Sounds good.
All right. Hey Marco, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here with the great and powerful Eric Devash for sure.
Well, you and I have spoke online probably for the last 6 months, or maybe it's been a year, and
Yep.
we don't really know each other at all. So this is another one of those perfect examples of why I like to do this show because we get to know each other.
Right.
So you are currently, like you're a trainer for XPEL, an installation trainer for window film. Is that accurate?
Correct. Yep. It's me and another. I have a partner that we pretty much cover the entire globe. So
Wow.
yeah. So yeah, I do window tint and paint protection too when they need me. So
Okay. And
yep.
what kind of like scenarios do they typically need you for training? Is this like new shops like onboarding? Is this like existing shops maybe having trouble with technique, or like what are the reasons you might go out somewhere for training?
Initially, it's mainly just green guys, like getting someone that literally doesn't know what to do with a squeegee, and at the end of the course, they're able to complete, a basic. They're not going to be able to do a Tesla, but they're going to be able to do your basic sedan and two-door vehicle for sure. Can they? I mean, with my experience in training with Expel, I would say about two guys and one female were able to shrink a Tesla back window. So there are some superstars out there, and they're brand new. So that's really encouraging for the industry, most
Right.
definitely.
That's
Yeah.
something that like it's almost like there's kind of I feel like there's a certain like people that maybe have the mindset that like that's impossible. There's no way somebody can tint a window to any sort of level within like a week or a month. It takes decades and it just is what it is. And like I know that's not true. Like you said, everybody kind
Right.
of starts off with a different skill level and skill set. Everybody learns at a different rate, and you're always going to
Right.
have those like overachievers or those like naturals that just like come
Correct.
out the box and kill it.
Right. I'll give you an example. I had a guy, I won't tell his name, but day four, like he should be able to shrink a back window, install a front door, a back door, and a quarter. And man, I was breaking my brains. I was questioning what I'm doing. Like maybe I need to teach him, maybe I need to show him something else. And it was just me and him that week. So there was no other distractions with other students. He got all of my attention, and I was like thinking to myself, this guy's he's not comprehending it, and I don't know what that guy did the night before, but he went
He didn't
on
get a
this
good
test
night's
day.
sleep, probably, is the problem.
I don't know. Come test day on Friday, he knocked it out of the park. I'm like,
Oh, wow.
were you messing with me? He's like, no, I don't know. I got some rest, and everything just clicked for me. I was like, beautiful. I was questioning my career choice because that's never happened. But yeah, for sure. Anyone, well, give me someone that's coachable, that has a positive attitude, and that's willing to learn, and I can show you how to tint for sure.
And I would think that would be most tinters in the sense like that nobody really feels like I doubt there's many scenarios where somebody's like tinting because somebody's forcing them to tint. If you're in that industry, like I feel like you have to be kind of like taking yourself down that path. Like I don't think
Right.
anybody's parents are like you have to be a tinter and they're like I don't want to and send
Correct.
them off to tint school, you
Right.
know?
Right. Yeah. But yeah, being with Expel and training, it's super gratifying. Just literally, like I call it having a podcast with my students. Like during the week, like I really get to know them and build, relationships with these guys, and it's really satisfying for sure. And I get to give them a skill that they didn't have, and they're able to literally change their trajectory in life because
Mhm.
they're coming out with something that it's completely foreign to them, and they're able to generate income for years to come.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Out of all things, like if you can tint a window, you can probably find work for yourself at like somewhere. Whether you can generate yourself with a Facebook ad and a roll of film and a squeegee, or you can go somewhere and find a shop that's super busy and they'll take anything right now and you're in.
Right.
So like it's a very valuable skill set in that sense.
I mean, you can literally go anywhere in the world. Like I came from Central America, and those, like, it was super invaluable to them. Like just me being there, and they listened. They everything I did, it was like they mirrored everything because it was going to change their family's livelihood with them grasping the techniques and literally tinting a vehicle. So I had a good week last week for sure.
So, what are some of the things that you see that are like different, in other countries in South America, that stand out to you? Maybe like as an like window film as an industry, or like how those shops are run, or how like whether it be volume or how they what are some of the big differences you see? Differences in culture you've seen?
Um, well, specifically the establishment that I was at, it's the first premier high-end automotive window film company. So they're targeting, like, they had Porsches, pretty much all high-end cars. They were targeting that for sure, and they had the clientele. Um, for example, like when I was in Mexico, Guadalajara, and, there was nice cars there as well. So what stood out to me the most being in my last trip is just, I don't know, the passion and the eagerness that these guys really wanted to grasp what I was teaching them.
Right.
And not to bash Americans, but it's just it's a different level, you
Right.
know.
It's a
It's
level of
at
like
a different
built-in
level.
comfort, would you say?
On the American side,
Yeah.
yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think
and
like no
they
matter
just
how hardworking somebody is, there's like as an American, like, and not to say every American and
right.
not to say every extreme, but I think there's definitely, no matter how early you wake up in the morning, how hard you think you're killing it, it's different than when you're like, you've grown up your whole life and you have generations of trying to escape like a poverty like scenario. And,
Right.
that even just the difference of growing up and being told like, look, you're in a country, you can be anything you want to be, versus like, you don't even ever like that opportunity isn't something that your brain goes down because it doesn't
Right.
exist necessarily.
Correct. And then also the other thing that I noticed on my last trip, the big, I would say, what stood out to me on top of their eagerness to learn was their leadership inside that establishment. The owner was learning too and training, and this guy had the smallest ego, man. He was coachable, everything that I said earlier, and he empowered his team by his leadership, and because he was, when I grade, like, if you do a back window, I'm gonna circle with my pen all the imperfections, and I'm gonna be super critical because guess what, your customers are gonna be critical, and I didn't hold him at a different standard because he was the owner, and just him being there and interacting with his guys, I got to see, this he's literally on the front lines with his employees, and
Hmm.
they have something special there for sure.
So you mentioned that it's a high-end shop. It's a new shop, or new
Yes, new
new window
shop.
film, or
Yep.
new shop completely?
New shop completely.
Okay. And
Yeah.
is there a lot of competition as far as like high-end shops in that area?
Zero whatsoever.
Like
There is a
zero.
lot of competition for, you know, um, shops that just slap the tin on and then they move on.
Right.
There's a
Like
ton of those guys out
flea
there.
market-ish type
Yes.
of
Yes.
scenarios. Kind
Yep.
of a garage with an overhang or something. And
Barely out there.
okay, so then my
Yeah.
question is, it makes me think, okay, somehow XPEL, whether it be like the chicken or the egg, but somehow it's like a good fit for XPEL to be now this first shop that is that high end. And this is almost like you could make quite a commercial out of a shop like this, because like if you want to say
Yes.
like you could show like downtown LA and be like, think you have a lot of shops here, and like
Right.
like the money scenario and like the whole thing, it's like it seems to be as hard as it could be in that scenario that you're describing, in a sense, right?
Yeah, most definitely. Yep.
Is there anything, was it like you mentioned they have the clientele already, like if it's a new shop and they already have the clientele, is it safe to say, I'm not trying to like kiss XPEL's ass here, but like is it
Right.
safe to
No.
say it's because like it's a recognized brand, and if you're a Porsche owner, you're into cars, you can be anywhere
Correct.
in the world and probably know about XPEL?
Yeah, for sure, it's brand recognition, and that's why the owners decided to go with XPEL for sure, because the competition was approaching them, but they decided to choose XPEL for sure.
That's awesome. So do you
Yeah.
also have you traveled like on the flip side to like the Middle East and seen like where's the nicest shops you've seen? Where is like the most high end and
Mm. Outside of America, I would say that was the nicest shop. Just thinking, I do a lot of dealership work. I would say the nicest dealership was in Florida. That place is, whew, it was like a hospital. Multiple levels of different brands. So I'm just going to throw them out there. Ferrari, a Range Rover. They had Infinity, multiple high-end brands, and I got to train this individual, and one of my top students again for sure. And it's just the way that that establishment runs. I can tell why they're so high end for sure. For example, they had cleaning people were running through the insulation bay just to make sure that there's no trash and everything's clean. Everything is just immaculate. It reminds me of a hospital. That's what I like to call it. But yeah, I would say that's the nicest for sure.
and then outside the US?
I would say my last trip that was the nicest shop,
Really?
hands down. Yes.
And
Oh
then
yes.
before that, so nicest other than that.
Mm, when I was in Mexico, I didn't go to a shop. I was in like a warehouse area. So yeah, my
Okay.
last trip took the cake for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So with all the training, like the number one or one of the top three things you hear in like groups is if you ask a tinter, hey, what's your biggest problem? If you ask them in the winter, they're going to say leads. If you ask them in the summer, they're going to say installers. And you could do the spring and the fall too. They'll probably say installers. So it's
Right.
just the
Yeah.
winter when they say leads, but every
Right.
time else it's installers. Do you get a sense for like supply and demand as far as like the need for installation training versus like the need for like the availability of it? Are you pulled super thin because there's such a demand for you to be everywhere and train, or for the most part, do you think like do you know
I
what I'm
think
kind of
with me
getting
and
at?
my yeah, I think with me and my partner, just talking about us, I think maybe we might need another individual, but I think between the both of us, we're able to keep up with the demand for sure.
So like
But
if
any,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, no, go
But
ahead.
I just think that goes to show the strength of the industry because I've been in the industry for almost 16 years. It just goes the strength of the industry. It's still going strong for sure.
Because obviously like there's a lot of tint, not a lot, but there's tint schools popping up. There's a tint school in
Yeah.
Jacksonville, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and like there's a million pictures of. I hope I'm not like I don't mean to like I don't know. I don't know if mentioning stuff like that's like a good or bad thing or whatever. But I'm getting at in general, not
No.
to mention
Please.
specifics, but
Right.
there's obviously like there's schools throughout the country that are popping up. People seeing that like, hey, this is a way that we can um, grow the industry, make money, and so on. And I guess what I'm saying is I like I especially like when a manufacturer like XPEL takes the lead with that and has installers because to me, if one of the biggest issues, again, going back, and I stand by this, is usually hiring help and getting like staff. If you could get staff to
Right.
people, I feel like everybody's business would significantly change
Hmm.
for the better. So I guess what I'm saying is um, I wonder if we move towards a scenario where, there's just more and more trainers out there and that
Hmm.
is what makes a big evolution because like here's what I was going to say was okay what I was going to say was thinking like if it would ever be worth it like XPEL to have like a training facility on the west coast maybe in central America maybe on the
Right.
east coast and in the northeast and so on and have these training hubs because if I'm in California which I am and if I had an installer I want to train the thought of him flying all the way to Florida for some dumb reason in my head, even so that's where I'm from, seems far. And it seems like, you're
Right.
sending one of your guys like far, especially if it's a
Right.
school that you're not like affiliated with in a sense. But if it's my manufacturer, if it's where I'm buying my film, if XPEL says, hey, you can send your person from California to Vegas, let's say, or whatever it is,
Right.
and I'm going to trust this. Like they're using my film, they're using they have to be doing it right. I want to send all my guys there, and at that point, I feel like it becomes a different kind of business because you definitely won't have to if you have a resource where you can train people very consistently and at will. It very much becomes a business that transitions from the owner needing to be a tinter to the owner needing to be a great operator of a business
Right. I
instead
understand.
of needing, right?
I'm trying to understand. Yeah.
Where do you go with all that?
Yeah. Huh. Um, I think that there should be more training facilities to cover more, on the West Coast. We have our training facility in Texas. There should be more for sure, just to keep up with the demand. And if we have more locations, that you built it, they will come for sure. Um,
Because
yeah,
look how many film options there are. If I want to buy window film, there's a
there's
million options, right? A million and a half. And
yes,
then if I want to get training or anything to do with like hiring, that number becomes like super tiny.
right.
And
It shrinks down for
I'm
sure.
just saying, like, you're pointing out the value of like, hey, you can take somebody and quickly teach them how to tint. Most
Yes.
people, but and then
Hmm.
there's also that ongoing education where somebody may be tinting for 5, 6, 7, 10 years, who knows how long, and a training course could maybe teach them a technique or whatnot that gives them a cleaner install on every single install for the rest of their career. Maybe shaves 10 minutes off a car. That's
Right.
10 minutes times 5 cars a day. That's an
Right.
hour a day times every day for the
Hmm.
rest of your life. Like there's you can't not be improving your skill set regardless of what stage you are in the game, no matter what and no matter
Right.
who.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that goes down. I mean, to me personally, that just goes down to the mental capacity of the individual. Like if you think you're the best, you're not. You have to have an open mind, and you can't have an ego, man. That is the common denominator of the downfall of people, man. You can't have a big ego, thinking you're the best and not willing to learn something new.
So just basically
So,
being closed off to trying a suggestion or
correct. Yeah.
I do it this way.
Yep. I
Well,
mean, if I do something wrong and if someone else teaches me, I'm like, oh man, I didn't see it like that. Cool. I'm gonna run with that. I'm not gonna be like, my ego's so inflamed I can't take some criticism or someone helping me. No, you can't, man. Was I like that before? Absolutely. 4 years ago, absolutely. I had the largest ego, man, and I just
really?
yeah. Oh,
What? I'm surprised
oh
because you seem you're such a nice guy when we speak and you're
yeah.
nice. What if it's something that you don't mind sharing? What was such a change that from 4 years to now you made such a drastic?
Yeah, honestly, it was a podcast, man. It was a Joe Rogan podcast with Jocko Willink, and he was just talking about taking ownership of your life. Like, you can't have I said it, the common denominator of a downfall of a person's character is your ego. So that really, I was installing back then, and that really, it resonated with me, and you know, it made me look in the mirror, and it made me want to change. And that went into a different lifestyle change. I started eating right, working out, waking up, like I said earlier, at 4:30 in the morning, 5 a.m., go, just to get my mind right and to literally control my ego. And I think that helped just me overall so that I can, I don't know, connect better with people because nobody likes a
Sure.
know-it-all. Nobody,
Right.
nobody likes that. And
Right.
we all know that one guy that just talks, that he doesn't know that he's talking about himself, and it's just like, you just want to walk away.
Yes, I thought of
So,
I thought of a handful of people when you said it. I went to
oh,
like
absolutely.
yes.
Absolutely. And
So
they're everywhere, man.
and yeah, one of the videos by Jocko, I'm sure you're familiar with it. It's the one where it's like I think it's called like Good, where he's
Yeah.
kind of like so whatever. So your house crumbled down and killed your family. Good, you'll figure like you'll get a new family. Like I mean, he's like it's that's a joke obviously, but like
uh,
it's the most single like if something is going wrong for you, no matter what it is, I feel like that to me, if you say what is the one therapy, what would you do for the person? What would you say? I'd say play the video, listen to the video, and
oh, most
it
definitely.
because it puts things into perspective. And when you look at challenges your way and problems as challenges, and you don't have an expectation of a problem-free future, and you look at it like, all right, cool, I'm being challenged. I'm gonna conquer this challenge. Like I can do it. Like whatever it is, guaranteed you'll do it, and guaranteed it'll be fine. The other way is just like self torture.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm really familiar with that for sure. You can't. You didn't get the job you wanted. Good. More time to get better. You know,
Right.
more time, more practice, more reps. And to me, the secret to life that shouldn't be a secret, it should be told, to everyone, is that if you're not good at something, let's just use it for back windows. If you're not good at back windows, you should practice doing more back windows and just more repetition.
Right.
Find where you're going wrong and just the more repetition. So,
Lean into it. It's there's like two, I feel like prevalent like sayings that kind of contradict each other, but they really don't, which is
right,
one, like, when you run into something like you said you're not good at, like lean into it, go towards it,
right,
like, because that's really what I think life's about, is those accomplishments and feeling like you're moving forward, and
right.
and so on. And the other saying is kind of like, focus on the things you're good at, like figure out what you're good at and like go 100% in. And I think
Hmm.
they both apply, because the figure out what you're good at and like what you enjoy, and so on, and go 100% in. I think that's maybe the more like macro, or yeah, macro perspective, like in general. But along that way, you're going to run into those road bumps and hurdles that are the
Oh
things you
man,
need to like wake up and.
yeah.
So I'm not saying like
Road,
do what you don't want to do for a living. Do what you want to do for a living,
right,
but like you said, back windows suck. Do a million back windows. Become the best back window
absolutely.
person ever.
And then when I started in this industry, man, the guys that were training me, the initial guy that trained me, he was like, no, no, just do doors, just do doors. So I was literally doing doors for maybe 8 months, and I was like, I won't say his name. I was like, dude, like, I need to learn back windows. You're like handicapping. He was like the
So
shop
was he
man.
doing that so you wouldn't like compete with anybody or take anybody's job, or?
Yes, there goes the ego. Yep.
Right.
So he was like, no, 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 it's too hard. I don't want you to trash film or burn. I don't want you to burn film. I was like, dude, I need to learn. It's like, no, just keep doing it. So I said, I had enough. So I bought my own film and I just started learning on my own, and that zipped him up. And then he started training me. So there's certain situations in life where you gotta go, man. You know, grab the
So
bull by the horns and take ownership.
so when did you let's go down that road. When did you start tinting?
Hmm. I was in college, and one of my buddies worked at Formula One shop, and he said, "Hey, man, I'm gonna be leaving. You can make some good money while you're in school, working on cars doing window tint." I was like, "Window tint?" He's like, "Yeah, I can show you what to do. You'll start off at prepping. We take off door panels." He's like, "Are you cool with taking off door panels?" I said, I think so. I mean, I've been around automotive my entire life with my dad. He's a mechanic, and I started off prepping windows, yanking door panels, removing film, and then it just led into installing. So I was at that Formula One shop for almost, I think, 8 or 9 years, and then uh, things with compensation, I just said, it's not enough. So I jumped into corporate America, and I was there for almost 8 years, and I was a district manager for a wireless company, and our department closed down, and they said, "Here you go. Here's some cash," and I had to do something. Good thing that I was still, working on the side, tinting neighbors' cars, and I'm so grateful that I knew a trade because I had bills to pay, man. I had mortgage, I had, things like that, and I got a job the next day installing. So
Nice.
yeah.
And then how long from there is the next step to working for XPEL, or?
So that was 2015. Um, that was 2015. Yeah. So I was just installing just to pay the bills, and yeah, yeah, I wanted more of a leadership role, and I wanted a sales role, and it was just I didn't see that future at that establishment. So I got recruited by Snap-on Tools. I'm sure you're familiar with them.
Mhm.
So I was there for 2 years. I was a district manager, and then similar thing with compensation. It's just I don't know when you start messing with someone's compensation, it takes the fun out of it. And I go to work. I go to work to produce, man, build the relationships and obviously to generate income. Um, So after that, I worked for the competition, um, XPEL's competition, and pretty much did the same thing, installation training. And I was there for a year, and I had some personal things that I had to get through, and I couldn't commit to all the travel.
What color is their logo?
Red.
Okay,
Yeah,
I think I
yeah,
got
yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah. So then I left there and I just started installing. I was installing for a good almost 2 years. And then I was in a position where I could start traveling and get back out there. And I loved what I did. And I try to get in with Expel, man. I tried. And thanks to this group, I connected with Dean Mitchell. Have you heard of him?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a rock star, right?
yeah, yeah, he is. And I was just messaging him, man, just not bugging him, but like he would post things like, "Hey, they're looking for, I don't know, a tint pattern maker or something." I would just keep replying back to him. I think it took almost a year and a half. He said, "All right, this guy." I'm sure he was annoyed. I'm sure he gets those requests all the time. So the timing was right, and he forwarded my info to my current director, and oh no, man, the rest is history. I did an on-site interview, like in a hotel parking lot, and he said, "Okay, show me how you would teach someone." I was like, "All right, cool." I had all my gear. I was ready for battle, and I gave him a demonstration. So the rest is history, man. I'm here.
How long ago was that?
That was 2019. So I've been here for a year.
So you just
Yeah.
answered like a question that I think I asked on at least two or three other Tint Wisdoms, which is
Uh-huh.
kind of about opportunity within Expel and how do you go about it, and and I think like you just answered that in the sense like keep an eye out, number one, because you
Right.
never know when they're going to post with an opportunity, and number two, don't be afraid to reach out over and over again, regardless if
Oof.
there's an opportunity or not, and be professional
Absolutely.
about it, obviously.
Absolutely, man. I hit up Jeff Phillips, Dean, like all the time, and I showed him that at our last dealer conference. I was like, "Hey, do you remember?" I don't know if you remember, but I showed him the text, and I was like, "Hey, man, I'm finally here." So Jeff's a great guy. But yeah, most definitely, if you want something, you gotta go and get it. You have to be persistent and like you said, professional. Not like, "Hey, get me a job with Expel." Come on.
Right, like hook me up, come on,
Yeah,
like
you
that's
gotta have tact,
definitely
man.
not
You
going to
have
work.
to have tact. Yeah.
Right. um, Especially because the way you represent yourself to get the job is proud. It's easy to assume that's how you're going to represent the company in the position of the job.
Right.
So, like kind of a simple one. That's awesome. Like I was, again, I was thinking, I'm like, man, I think you have essentially what a lot of people would call a dream job. Now, I'm sure there's some tinters out there that would say, I can't be away from my family, or I don't like to travel, or I hate airplanes. But at the end of the day, like, I'm sure there's a lot as well that are like, man, so you're telling me I could put down this like like not really because you're traveling, but like not come in 7 days a week and deal with a million customers and just go out and teach other people that like want to learn.
Right.
Like that's awesome. Like
Hmm.
what's I don't know. I guess it's a is it fair to say it's a pretty fucking awesome job?
Oh yeah, for sure. I wouldn't turn this down for nothing, man. For sure. I mean, I love teaching and changing people's trajectory in life.
Yeah.
But honestly, a little secret, I enjoy connecting with like my students. Like I have a thread on my phone, and like I told them that I'm going to be on here, and they were sending the funniest memes. And I don't know, I enjoy connecting with them, and just literally, this might sound weird. I want to know how their brain thinks, and I want to get to know them in that short period of time because there's some serious insight, and there's really some valleys and trials and tribulations that people get through, and just to hear them overcome those obstacles, um, it's inspiring, and it makes me want to do a better job of teaching something, maybe slow it down a little bit, show it a different way so that they can grasp. But yeah, man, it's a great career for sure.
So if you can't really, this is a tough question in a sense, but if
Answer it. Let's do it.
it's a tough question in a sense because you can't really answer it honestly. I don't want you to answer it honestly. I just want to hear your side of it. But if if you would have got an offer from like XYZ window film
Oof.
company as a trainer,
Hmm.
Would that potentially at the time have been to you just as good of a job as the one you were hoping to get with XPEL, or was there something about XPEL as a company that kind of drew you to pursuing being part of that team?
Oh yeah, yes. Specifically because Expel, they were. How am I gonna say this? They're the company that has a target on their back, man, for sure. And they're the premier brand. We are the premier brand for sure. And I wanted, the other team that I was on was, they're premier too. But the way the company operates, it's a large company, but I feel that it's ran like a smaller company, so to speak. I'm trying to articulate it to you, but they the leadership and your coworkers, they empower you to get the job done. And if you don't understand something, someone's going to help you for sure. But yeah, to answer your question, I pursued Expel because you know, they were the they were the Ferrari. You gotta chase it.
And the growth is there, and with growth comes opportunity, because when there's
Hmm.
growth, there's obviously like new holes to fill, new positions to fill. There's new
Right,
hires which put you above those new hires typically.
right.
They It's just like management jobs, management positions create themselves when you're growing quickly.
Hmm.
So I see that. The other thing that I want to bring up, and I'm not trying to get into your, I definitely like, I want to talk about the stock, the XPEL stock, and I'll preface it by
Hmm.
saying I don't own any of the XPEL stock, and I
Yeah.
don't want to know if you do or don't, or you could
Okay.
mention it, but that's not my question. I'm just putting that
Okay.
out there.
Hmm.
I'm not trying to get into finances, but what I find super attractive about XPEL as a company as well, whether you're installing their film or you're not, whether you're working in the company or whether you working for another company, whatever it is, like XPEL. Okay, XPEL is now a publicly traded company,
Hmm.
and which it has been for a while, but it's publicly traded now, like on a large stock exchange, on a major stock exchange. So you get the quarterly calls and all the information and so on. And what I'm getting at here is like, I think when a lot of people think of stocks, you think of them in different ways, because some people think of them like a bet. Like, what's the bet? Like it's gonna win. It's gonna go up. It's maybe gonna go up because I bought it, or it's gonna go up because I there's gonna be other factors that we don't know about, and these and this and that. So, like an example, like maybe you used a Roomba at one point, like an iRobot Roomba, and you were like,
Okay.
they like, wow, I love this self vacuum cleaner. Like, this is the fucking shit of the future. Like, I'm gonna invest in this company, right? And like that
Yeah.
might be a way you do an investment. Or you see a commercial on TV and you see, the stock going up and people making money, and you're like, I'm gonna invest in that company. But like what I'm getting at is, you don't know most of the time, and not you, but I'm saying in general, most time, most people really don't know shit about the company. You don't really know, are they in debt? You don't really know, like, how are their employees? Are they nice people, or are they shitheads? Like,
Right.
you don't know that kind of stuff. Like, you're just buying the company, you're just buying the stock. And what
Right.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, XPEL is this unique scenario where, if you're in the window film industry, you know XPEL. You understand XPEL. You understand their product offering. You know their window film line. You know their DAP. You know their PPF. You know their fusion ceramic coating lines. You know some of their reps, and you know Ryan. You've heard of him. So what I'm getting at is, when you look at a stock in that shape, you look at XPEL. You don't have to be into the stock market. You don't have to be an investor. If you're a business owner, or you're
Right.
not, even, I mean, why do you have to be a business owner? But what I'm saying is, if you have some money that you say, I want to invest in this industry, you could buy a roll of film with it. You could start a business with it. You could also buy a portion of XPEL and be included in their growth and success as a part owner of it. So if we were to
Right.
talk about like Bill Valloway, absolute perfection window tinting, or like Tommy
He's a
Silva,
nice guy.
like in
Hmm.
Hawaii.
Oh.
If somebody was to say
Hmm.
like,
Yeah.
hey, Tommy Silva in Hawaii, or protective film solutions in
Hmm.
California, if they were to say like, hey, we're selling shares of our company, do you want some? Like, I would definitely be like, let's hear it. I mean, depends on the price for sure, but
Right.
I'm interested in owning a part of these very successful businesses that I
Yeah.
know the owners. And what I'm saying is, XPEL is that same opportunity.
Right.
Did I
Yeah.
wear you
No.
out for talking for 10 minutes?
No, no, no. You're
Okay.
good. You're good.
So it's that same
No.
opportunity. And I think that's fucking incredible. So whether you work
Yep.
there or you don't work there, you can be a part owner of that company and go with it. I mean, is that also kind of like cool to you? Do you see that like working there? You're like, shit, I can be a part owner of this company.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it just goes. I said earlier, it just goes to show you that the industry and specifically our company, we're strong, and just the overall industry, it's booming, man. And you can say other industries like I'm sure Amazon's doing good, Target's doing good, but Expel stock is doing phenomenal as well. But you got to invest into something that you. I don't know if I'm going to invest in something,
No.
I'm going to do some research,
Right. And the reason I didn't mention
and
like
it's something I
companies,
believe in.
the reason I didn't mention companies like Eastman and 3M and so on, as far as obviously they're publicly traded too, but those companies, the window film portion is such a small portion of the
Very
overall
small.
company that
Yes.
they could be killing it in window film, but like it's not
Right.
necessarily going to move even like a tick on the overall meter of how the company's doing. Where
Right.
Expel, it's like you know what they're doing.
This is
Like
all we do, man. Like,
it's right.
yeah, this is it, you know. And the customers, I know it's people just say the customers are the core of who we are. The customers, we really need our customers, And it goes to with every interaction with customer service, even to the trainers and or when our students walk in and they're greeted, they're the face of the company for sure. So it goes down to that level as well.
I don't, like I said, I don't own Expel stock, but I just kind of want to bring up another interesting point. Now,
Let's do
whenever
it.
you talk about stocks and you look backwards, you're just a straight asshole because it's always easy when you're looking backwards. So I'm going to look backwards real
Right.
quick. And I just want to bring us back to
Okay.
May. And if we go back to May, Expel was around $16, $15 a share. And now we're in November, so I don't know the math on that. 7 months late, 6 months later, six and change, whatever. It's at $38. So that
Oof.
stock has over doubled. So just to put that into
Right.
perspective, and again, I'm just trying to draw that picture of like you're investing in a company's success. You could have potentially in that time put $20,000 into your business. Some people may have. You could have bought $20,000 worth of film and then sold it and made money and so on, whatever it is.
Mhm.
Or you could have potentially, if you knew the future, put $20,000 in the stock, and that 20,000 would have made you 30,000, and you'd be worth maybe 50 or 55,000 or so on. And I guess
Right.
that all I'm saying is like again, I don't own the stock and I'm not trying to sell the stock, but what I am saying is it does make sense if you're in this industry to potentially invest in some of these companies. And it just seems like such an opportunity with Expel.
Right.
It just
Oh
seems
yeah.
like if you like how many people are like, I want to carry Expel, but I can't because of territory issues. Okay, then buy
Oh.
their stock because that's even better. Like
Right.
not even better, but like you
Huh.
don't have to do the work and you still benefit off Expel.
You see, that's a different way. That I like that. That's a different way of thinking about that. Huh? I didn't think
You
about
know what I
that.
mean though?
Huh?
Like if there's a
Yeah,
shop
for
down the street,
sure.
they're fucking killing it in Expel, and I can't carry Expel because of them. Cool, I'll buy the stock. You keep
Either.
killing it, and I'm gonna make money off of that too.
Yeah, and then when you make a ton of money off the stock, you can buy that company, and there you go.
Right?
Yeah, I like that. I like that way you worded that. That's good.
I don't know. I also think there should be a rewards program with you get rewards with your rolls of film. You get stock options, and then
Hmm.
if you execute, I don't know. There could be
Yeah,
something. You probably can't do that. There's no way that's allowed.
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I'm obviously an Expel fan, but like I'm a fan of anybody out there even trying. Even just swinging. If you're taking big swings and you're trying to hit home runs, and whether you're hitting the home runs or you're just like out there fucking swinging the bat every day, like I appreciate that. And they happen to be hitting home runs.
You have to swing, man. You have to, or else you're not going to be in the game. You know?
But not a lot of companies are swinging.
Yeah, you got to, man. You have to.
Doesn't feel like they are.
Yeah.
Not saying nobody, but it doesn't feel like a lot of companies are aggressively pursuing anything like big changes,
Right.
big improvements. Like,
Yeah, we're definitely swinging, man, for sure.
yeah.
We're keeping score too, so.
What do you think, like, best advice other than ego? Like, if we take ego aside, what do you think best advice for a shop is? If you have an installer or a
Oof.
shop owner, like, from what you've seen, what would you tell um, an installer out there? What's
A tip for an installer.
Yeah.
Hmm. If you get frustrated, take a break. Take a break. Don't break your brain to try to. You're gonna waste more film. Take a 5 minute break. Zoom out of the situation. Remove yourself. Regroup, and then attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then you get people get tunnel vision and they get frustrated and they keep cutting the same pattern and they're just it's depending on the individual they can't separate what their personal life is going through and their work and it's a clash and I don't know, man. That's why I'm all about brain power. You got to keep your mind strong for sure, especially during these crazy times that we're in right now.
What do these crazy times look like you? You're somebody who travels for a living, and travel
Uh,
is a little challenge, right?
these views are not represented by XPEL. These are the views by Marco Cazorla. um, I don't. eh, all right, I'm just going to be honest. On the East Coast, like people, they're not scared, you know. But then there's certain pockets, like big cities, they're scared of, they have the mask thing, then they have a shield, they got gloves, and it's just, I don't know, man. The fear is out there for sure. I'm not saying that none of this is not real, but
Yeah.
you can't cave to your fears. You gotta live your life, man. There's people being really impacted by all the fear for sure.
What do you think about this? What do you think about when somebody's wearing a mask, they're wearing a face shield, they're wearing gloves? What if we encourage that? And like not only encourage that, like maybe, we pursue like see here's the thing. The problem is I think
Here we
that
go.
you have two sides to this. You have I
Hmm.
don't want to wear a mask and you
Yeah.
have I'm going to wear a mask very overly cautiously, whatever. So you have those
Right.
two sides. And the problem is the people wearing the masks are obviously upset when somebody's not wearing a mask, and
Right.
somebody's not wearing a mask is obviously making fun of the person wearing a mask.
Yeah.
And I think the real problem here is there's two sides because what we should do is agree like if you want to wear a mask, fucking support it. Like I love it. If you want to wear a mask, I love it. If you want to wear a full bodysuit, I love it because you're going to be healthy. And I want to even encourage it because like I want like my mom to wear a full bodysuit. I want everybody that I care about that I
Right.
don't want to get sick to wear the full bodysuit.
Right.
But if you don't give a fuck, then it is what it is.
Right.
And the problem again now we'd say, well, it's going to affect the people who do give a fuck. It's not if they're wearing full bodysuits, like full masks and so on. Or it might. Now I've
Oh.
kind of stepped all over my toes and I've sounded like an idiot going in a circle.
No,
But
no,
what I'm
no.
trying to say is
I think,
instead
yeah.
of we should encourage it. If you want to wear gloves, fucking more power to you. If you want to wear
Right.
gloves and a mask in your car, I don't know what you have going on in your life and where you're headed. Good. But
Right.
at the same time, it is scary. I've never thought I'd live through the day in America, in the United States, where we'd force people to close their businesses and not leave their house.
Oh,
Fundamentally, as a person that has been in business my entire life
yeah.
and grew up in America and heard these things, I thought that that was one of those core things, like where we're never going to like stop you from pursuing like liberty and happiness. We're
Right.
never going to discriminate again, hopefully not on larger scales, and hopefully we can clean up the smaller scales. And we're never going to tell somebody you can't leave the house. Like to me, I think of other countries when you hear stuff like that. And the fact that we have lived through that right now, I just don't believe it'll be the last we've heard of it.
No.
And it's scary. And I think if you really want to take your business seriously and your family seriously and your life seriously, I know you have to continue to operate as a business and get your job and so on. But I think all these things should live in the back of your head to help steer the future so you don't end up in a really bad position because we don't know what's coming.
Right. No, for sure. I don't think that these things are going to slow down. Um, the whole closure of businesses and keeping people inside, man. I don't know. It reminds me of Cuba, man. Cuba and just like the government and just literally telling you what to do. Um, the most hurtful thing is that, closing of businesses and I'm for, man, if someone, like you said, if someone wants to wear the full getup, that's fine. But the people that don't want to wear it, they shouldn't be like mocking each other and, very tribalism, the one side. And it's like, hey, if you want to do that, go ahead. But you shouldn't force people to, to do that. Obviously, be cautious. If you don't feel good, you shouldn't be going out,
Right. Yeah.
But
And
it's
am I crazy to think that like I do think I think like in business most of the time, like in the sense like I think like in economy like for business, it's important to have free market. It's important for things to balance themselves out. The supply and demand usually balances themselves out when you
mhm.
don't throw things in to kind of leverage them and then you screw up the ecosystem. I think nature works the same way. When you have too much of one animal, another animal ends up, or something ends up in nature. Disease
Yeah,
comes in, famine comes in, something happens. Anyway, with this, I feel like I think I'm right in this. I think that if we left it alone in the sense that like we let people do whatever they wanted to do, if we saw an extreme amount of deaths in an area,
right,
I would imagine that people are going to go, I'm not leaving. I understand I can leave. I'm not
right.
leaving because there's
Hmm.
freaking a bazillion dead people over there. And then next, I'm
Yeah,
going to go, well, how are you going to get food? Well, some person who's not leaving their business is going to say, I'm going to facilitate
right,
shipping food to people. I mean, Amazon already covers that. But what I'm saying
right.
is, and then they're going to say, well, you need people to deliver the food. And I'm going to go, well, everybody's dying. So then they're going to start using drones all of a sudden. And maybe
Yeah,
they don't make it so difficult to. And what I'm saying is things work themselves out, don't they?
right. Yeah.
Kind of.
I don't know, man. When you're dealing with the government, man, they just, I don't. And this is my personal opinion. They, to me, the left and the right, they play fight. They play fight, and behind closed doors, they're really friends, and they just want to pass legislation and all these bills and just keep printing money and control our lives. And once, I don't know, this whole lockdown thing, it just goes to show you that it can happen anywhere in the world. And I don't know, man. I'm against all that for
Yeah.
sure. Where the government literally telling you what to do. I have a problem with that. And
I have, I don't even have a complete, I have a problem with it, but if I don't mind being told what to do in small doses from smart people.
right, well,
So if we could just get in that, I don't really mind. I'm not saying like we
right,
need to all be like on our own, but like I need to know that you're smart and then you
right.
can't control my whole life. We need to talk about time periods.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Who the
the
hell
government
minded a
tells you what
week
to do.
off from everything being closed for a week and you could eat bread and nobody's going to see how,
Right.
like you eat pizza and bread for a week, you close all the businesses, everybody's screwed for a week, and then
Yeah.
we go from there. But it's the
Yeah, what I
uncertainty.
was referring to, like specifically, like the closures of business. Obviously, I have to listen to the government. I mean, there's
Right.
laws, seatbelt law, duh, that's common sense. But I'm specifically talking about just all the strict mandates and requirements, and it literally it's turning people against each other. And like, if you had a different view, if you wanted to wear a mask and all that, I'm not going to treat you differently. Like, I still care about you as a person who might have different views, but it's I don't know. It goes with your ego. Like, you can't have such a big ego that you hate the other person because they have a different worldview. You know.
Right. Because
So,
right. Think
and I
about
think
like
that's the problem.
right. It is. It is.
It's
People are defined by like one topic. So like
yes,
we're gonna pick that one topic, we're gonna put you in two categories, and you're not a human, you're that topic.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
for
weird.
sure.
So
It's
weird.
it's tribalism, man, and it's disgusting. It's not. I mean, if you look back to like when everyone was immigrating here, I mean, we're all different. Coming from Cuba, Russia, wherever, different countries, but they were fighting to come to America,
Right.
to be Americans. You
Right.
know, it's just I don't know. I think we lost that sense of touch, man.
Well, definitely like I think and then we'll talk so I don't know how deep we got to go in this, but like ultimately I
So
think like like okay, like you said, it was a melting pot. The problem is people grew from that melting pot and they forgot that it was a melting pot and they're like, we are an example of who belongs here or what this is, and you either conform or you're not this. And like, no, it's a constant melting pot. You can't take like one coal out of that and be like, this is the example. It's always like new pieces going in. And
right,
like I come from a family of immigrants, so I understand like, they still like they don't speak great English. Like you know what I mean? Like you feel it,
right.
you understand it.
What country are they from?
So my dad was from Israel and my mom from Argentina. but like his family, um, you know, he grew up in Israel, but his family, right before he was born, migrated, I think, from like Libya.
Mhm.
And it was that like whole get people to Israel scenario. So they
Right.
were immigrants. Like he grew up in a tent there and then ended up in the United States after the military.
Right.
Poor, like starting off from nothing, like one of those stories you hear, like I had $10, like scenario, and they misspelled
Yep.
my last name. And then my mom, same scenario. She's from
Right.
Italy, but they fled Italy to Argentina,
Uh-huh.
and then she was born in Argentina, and then she ended up in the United States. So anyway,
Got it.
I guess I appreciate that connection to the immigration because I feel like it helps give you a perspective of not feeling like maybe it's easier to feel like kind of
Yeah, you
you
know
know
what, dude? Excellent point. I mean, America's a bunch of immigrants. We lost that immigrant mentality. Like, for example, my dad, he left Ecuador and literally sold everything to come over here, and he was deported twice. And the third time, he finally got in, man. And my dad has exemplified a strong work ethic his entire life, man. And he's 73 and he still works on cars every single day, and he's a beast. And I think we've lost that sense of immigrant mentality where you work hard and nobody's going to give you, nobody owes you nothing, nobody's going to give you anything. You literally have to work for it.
right.
um, I think we lost the vision of the long term goal. It's always just like just looking at your phone, just like Amazon. Oh, I'll just get it right now, quick. It's just, yeah, we lost that for sure. That immigrant mentality,
Yeah.
most definitely.
So on the topic of disgusting tribalism, I'm
Mm.
curious your thoughts on plotter versus hand cut. Do you train
Oh,
both?
come on. Yes.
You train both? Like, do you have a plotter on your training every time, or
Yes.
is it hand cut sometimes and what?
Yes, we train on plotter and we do hand cutting as well.
So the shop you were just training, nicest shop you've ever been to,
Yes.
they have a plotter,
Oh, yes.
two
Yep.
plotters.
One plotter,
How big?
64 inch graph tech.
Do you recommend always going with like a 64 just to have it?
If it if a company's gonna even entertain doing PPF in the future, yes, do it.
To
There's
64. Like when people go with like 50 whatevers and smaller options, I feel like you get one 64 and you're done for life with that thing.
Yeah, for sure. And I've always, yeah, before when I was installing at the Formula One shop, we had like the big Jaguar. I think it was 70. This was like, I don't know, 13 years ago. We had the giant Jaguar, and yeah, that shop owner wanted the largest one because you never know. His mindset was we never know how big the film's gonna get.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but
You
yeah,
never know what
I
else
do
comes your
show I
way.
do show hand cutting for sure. It's you got to have a plan B if the plotter goes out or there's no internet, or you got to have a plan B. So yeah, I'm able to show someone how to hand cut a door in, I don't know, under 10 minutes. So
What do you think about have you have you run into any scenarios for yourself or do you have any opinions on like if right now let's just say we're on lockdown, right? And I'm
mm,
like, "Hey, if I'm like, "Hey, I really need your training. I really need your help, blah blah blah." And you're like, "Hey, I can FaceTime you." Have you done that? Do you feel like you can get something accomplished through FaceTime?
are we specifically talking about someone that doesn't know the trade?
You tell me what can be accomplished through FaceTime for helping
Okay, I'll
training
give
and
you I'll
fixing.
give you a real world example. I mean, I have customers all across America that they video chat me. Obviously, they went through our training.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you little tips and tricks? Oh, I keep burning it on this corner. Okay, show me what you're doing. So they're literally okay. They're either holding it in their left hand or they're having a partner show. I'm like, oh, the finger's not um, up and down. The finger's going like this. So that's why you were burning it. So yes, FaceTime and video chat, huge impact for sure. With someone that already has a skill set, and they're new, but they just need a little help.
Got
So
it.
yes, I've never attempted to even train someone brand new on a video chat. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's someone out there doing it, not me. Only because you gotta be face to face. You need to feel and, you know,
I feel like
you
Dean
gotta be
Mitchell was
genuine.
training somebody through a difficult car a few weeks ago through video chat.
What's
I
that?
feel like it was Dean that was
Uh,
training somebody how to do a difficult window through video chat a couple weeks ago, or maybe a month ago. I don't know.
yeah, but I'm sure that they had some experience.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. It wasn't a brand new person. Right.
Yeah, Dean does it all, man. I don't know how he does it. He's a superhero, man.
Right. Elijah in the comments asks, who's going to be the first to throw out a coupon code for a GraphTech 64-inch? Do you know anything about like, does XPEL
Elijah the
have a
Prophet.
program? Say again?
I said Elijah the Prophet. I think he was one of my students. What's up, Elijah? Um, I'm not too familiar with a coupon, but
Like, do you know, like, you can get plotters through XPEL. Is it where it's,
right.
do you know anything, like, do they advertise anything like, this is why you'd want to come through us, or you also get this training or help, or
I would say refer back to the territory manager because I'm sure though they could, you know,
vary by
they
area?
could sweeten the deal up for sure, hands down. But I don't really deal with the prices or anything like that. Sorry, Elijah.
Cody wants one too. He seems to need a bigger plotter. And
Cody. Okay.
yeah, anyway, do you know Cody? Cody Becker,
Cody. No,
XPEL
I'm sorry.
dealer. Nice guy.
Sorry.
Really nice guy.
I need to see a picture. Sorry, Cody.
It's all right.
I'll see you at XDC.
Yeah, so window film convention in Orlando
Oof.
has been
Man.
postponed till June. And then the obvious thing everybody like here's the thing. I feel that I would understand if literally if somebody said like who's going to the window film convention in June, and if the answers were I don't understand how to close my business in June. I can't close it. I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Like if there's
Right.
somebody's like I can't, I'd be like I totally understand. I
Right.
wouldn't be like, oh, you got to, no, I totally understand. We didn't there. June is going to be the hardest time for people that are already stretched thin and maybe coming from a slow winter and need the money and
Right.
busy as fuck to close, literally close your business. A lot of these people are answering the phones. They're going to be at the convention on
Right.
vacation in June.
I didn't understand that one, man. I didn't understand. I don't know. That was a questionable decision, but I'm sure someone thought it needed to be done.
I'm not saying it was a bad idea to push it, but I feel like September, as normal, might have been a better target. Like, skip
Right.
June, let's go to September. At least we know
Right.
where everybody will be at that point, kind
So
of.
hopefully more of our customers will come to XDC, man. I don't
That's the
know.
point.
Yeah, for
So, the
sure.
XPEL conference still
Yep.
happening in February. What is it, February 4th?
Yes. Super Bowl weekend.
Do you have any idea of the attendance numbers?
No, I do not.
It's fucking supposed to be a big deal.
It is. Richard Rawlings from Gas Monkey is going to be there, so that'll be entertaining for sure. And I will be there, and the rest of our team will be there for sure.
I will be there as well. Chris Hardy extended an invitation, like said I
You
could come
should
basically, so I
you
will
should
definitely
be
be
there.
there, and I'm really excited to be there, just
Absolutely.
to observe and be a part of this.
You got to get the XPEL touch, man. The rub.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I've never been to an XPEL meeting, and every year it's the cars that first catch your attention because there's
Right.
always the sickest cars, and from there
Yeah.
it's just pictures, and you're
Right.
missing out and blah blah blah. But like if anybody's curious, I don't know where you could find the pictures, but there was pictures last year of the auditorium of people, and it's a bazillion people, and that was
Right.
last year.
Right. And they're all of our customers from across the world. So I encourage my last customer. I was like, dude, I almost said his name. Like, dude, you have to come. You have to come because they have like I don't know. It's outside of America. They do a little bit different. They have like these nice. I actually have the shirt. I won't grab it, but I'll show you later. It's a it's a flashy shirt. It says Expel and the brand. I'm like, dude, that shirt's gonna pop. If you have to wear that when you go to our dealer conference. So yeah,
I'm excited.
all of our customers. Yeah,
I think
it'll be
it's safe
great.
to say, I feel very sure to say, like, if you're an XPEL dealer, you have to go, like, you should go to it. There's no question. Like, you spend the money, put it on a credit card,
Yes.
doesn't matter. You will
You'll
learn
make it
enough to
up.
pay for that
You'll make up
trip.
the money.
You'll
Yep.
make the money back,
Right.
guaranteed. And if you
Yep.
don't, you fundamentally don't understand business. If you're not in business for yourself, you'll still make the money if you're an installer and you can go there from
Right.
what you learn and who knows what opportunities you have to go,
The
right?
business owners should bring at least one of their installers, man. I
100%.
mean, they got to bring one of their installers. You
Yeah,
know, close it down. I mean, you'll make it up for sure, because the installer, obviously the owners are going to be there, but you got to get that second level so that they can really experience the whole XPEL brand for sure.
excited.
Yeah.
Um, so Cody asked, "How are we gonna go to the F1 race right after the comp? Gonna be
F1
talking 2 weeks, taking 2 weeks off in June. I don't know where the F1 race is. Is
F1
it
race. Oh, I'm not.
there
I don't
in
know. I'm a
Texas?"
terrible person. Oh,
And then
I don't
Dave
know.
Dillinger said, "Every single person has told me it's the best money they've ever spent. Like, you have to go."
The great and powerful David Dillinger. What's up, buddy? Yeah, for sure. I
Cody
agree.
said, "Wait, wrong conference. I left for a few minutes." All right.
Oh, okay.
um, all right. Well, I don't want to take up your entire evening, but is there anything you wanted to chat about that we haven't really touched on?
No, man, we covered it. It's good.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you for doing this. I at the beginning of this, I did not really feel like I knew you too well, and now I feel
Yep.
like we're buds. So
Absolutely.
I hope to
You
see
have a
you in a
friend at
couple
Expel,
weeks.
obviously with Dean and Chris Hardy, so we're family.
I'll see you in LA hopefully in a couple weeks, and I'll see you in Texas in a
Yep,
couple months.
for sure, man. Sounds good.
Thank you so much for doing this. Thanks for all your support. Thanks for being a good guy, and
Man.
chat with you
Right.
soon.
All right, man. Bye bye.
Have a great evening. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next Wednesday. Bye bye.